Welcome everyone to the PYRESWAP show. Today's Wednesday. How great is that? Middle of the week. And would you guys believe that while the rest of the price charts collapse under the stress of World War III being imminent right now, that's not happening on PYRESWAP. That's right, guys. PYRESWAP is the first DApp that is World War III immune. Couldn't do it without you guys. That's right. Heavily green day on the breakout of World War III. Yep. I am reading chat. Frankie Alma 46. Yes, thank you on Kick. Okay. And always great to have everybody here on Kick and Twitch and the other stuff like that. And by the way, guys, also huge moment. Guys, a milestone. A milestone. Do you guys want to know what it is? Here, I'm going to draw it on the board. I'm gonna reveal it all at once. Pyre Phantom is now officially above 0.01 TWAP. You guys, they said we'd never make it. You guys, they said we'd never get back up. You guys, they said we'd never be within 100x of peg. And we proved them all wrong as of 3 hours ago. Are you guys aware? We are within a 100x of our target. Just a whisker length away. Pyre AVAX and Pyre BNB are not above 0.01, but they're close. They're getting much closer, of course. Well, I'll tell you this, Seabiscuit. I'll tell you this. If we 10x in 2 weeks, we will 100x in 4 weeks. Right? If we keep the same rate. Now, above the Mead threshold, we'll probably not keep the same rate. But if we did keep the same rate, we get 10x in 2 weeks and we'll 100x in 4 weeks. Now, granted, our marketing, our awareness generating activities are only getting stronger and fiercer and bolder and braver and more robust and girthier and more virile and healthier. And those could obviously shore up where the Mead threshold might hold us back. Am I making sense? Does that make sense? Does it? Okay, let's see. Frankie Alma 46. We are not using a webcam at all. We are using this this Nikon like 1080 or 4K camera. I have no idea. Yeah, this is a complete set. Yeah, I honestly. Oh. Sorry, it's a DSLR 10-year. It's a 10-year-old DSLR camera. I hope that makes sense, Frankie Alma. Yeah. That's the board glare. We're good? Okay. Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? If we 10x in 2 weeks, we 100x in 4 weeks. Does that make sense to you guys? Because it's just the same thing that happens. 10xing twice is 100xing. Am I clear? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Anyways, it seems that for an incredibly bullish day on PYRESWAP, we are in fact we're trying our best. Let's put it that way. So, anyways, fantastic. I appreciate you letting me know. Okay, guys. By the way, we are also the #1 gainer. #1 gainer that's over 24 hours old on Phantom and Avalanche. Make sense, guys? Yeah, we're the #1 gainer that's older than 24 hours old. Do you guys get it? Because even like again, coins that are less than a day old, if they're like a meme coin launch or whatever, they're obviously using volume bots to jack up their fucking beta, as it were. We are, in fact, the #1 24-hour gainer. Does that make sense to you guys? #1 gainer that is greater than 24 hours old on Phantom and Avalanche. I think on BNB we were not, but we were probably still in the, we were still good, but yeah, not #1 as it were. Hope that makes sense. Okay, by the way, so fear and greed indexes today. Today's a fear day. Coin market cap rings it in as 39, which is fear. Alternative.me rings it in at 42, which is fear. And I like it's interesting to see coin market cap actually be a little bit more, I guess you could say, polarizing than alternative.me, because I always found that coin market cap seemed like it was trying to control the narrative. But yeah, it is a fear day in the market because of the whole World War III thing. Make sense? But not us. But not us, though. Make sense, guys? Okay. All right. So I know that I'm not talking to enough of you guys, but like the way that I expect these price charts to behave is kind of like the behavior of shoaling fish, which I described before. And I expect that there will be these kind of like frothing surges, kind of like the way that like waves crash inside of a harbor or in a cave, if that makes sense, where like the water like rushes up against a cliff. Have you guys ever seen like the ocean rush up against a cliff? And I think that you'll have these like these pops on the price chart where like everybody's kind of like firing off at the same time. But as this happens, like more and more eyeballs will get drawn in, if that makes sense, right? And people like figuring out the fundamentals, like they understand what's happening one way or another, right? And the rest of it, like it'll just fucking happen. Like I don't know what else to say. Like it'll have like a few false starts, is what I think. Does that make sense? Right? This is very hypothetical, but like I expect that like the price chart will have a few false starts, and then it might auto-catalyze into its own bull run. That makes sense to you guys. Yeah, like a true bull run with high volume and high activity. We're going to continue having like spikes of our own internal volume, and then eventually it'll compound, it'll catalyze, and then it will kind of like set off like a fuse. I hope that makes sense. Do you guys understand what I mean about this type of like catalysis? No, we just have the one with Twitter. Yeah, we're only interested in the Twitter. Thank you, Frankie. Yeah. Yeah, if you go to PYRESWAP.com, you have a footer, and on our website, all of our socials are there. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, like an accumulation. Yeah, like a consolidation as well. So, additionally, something else that I wanted to talk about is how share token value requires high supply. Okay? So some of you might remember that a coin called 2Share used to be worth $8,000. Right? Do you guys recall this? Has anybody ever heard the legend of 2Share touching $8,000 before? Okay. So in order for 2Share to be as high a price as possible, 2 ohm, yeah. Let me write this out. for 2 share to achieve the highest price possible to own must achieve the highest supply possible. So to be clear again, like I think a lot of people are still confusing some of the language around burning of the token. Now we want the token burning to happen and happen through decentralized methods. Does that make sense? Because the fact of the matter is that consistency is an exponent, right? So while the token's burning, like at this rate, I said before that like we could keep this rate up linearly and we would still crush half the supply in 6 months. Does that make sense? Now that does not imply that it is our goal to crush half the supply in 6 months with only 10 users. Does that make sense? Our goal is to now deflate, right? The way that Pyre Phantom gets the peg is it does deflate the peg. That's normal operations, that's post-Genesis, that's during Genesis, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that for 2 share to achieve the highest price possible, 2 must achieve the highest supply possible. And for 2 ohm to achieve the highest supply possible, Pyre Phantom needs an even higher supply. Make sense to you guys? By the way, market cap of Pyre Phantom already getting close to 200,000. Fascinating. Fascinating. Pyre Phantom having a large supply allows for 2 ohm supply to have its debt consolidated and managed by the existence of the Pyre Phantom ecosystem. Make sense to you guys? Okay, I'm assuming that does. Well, that too. Well, Maddie, that braided LP is definitely an aspect of that. But like in general, if we're talking about all the possible configurations of this token, we just want its supply to be circulating into some degree. So whether that's being held by users or whether that's being in LP, these both help in their own way, if that makes sense. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they're both part of the solution. Like it's not that we would want like all of it, because we always want some of it to be transacting too. Does that make sense? Like we want some of it in liquidity so we can get transaction volume, and then we want some of it transacting so the liquidity is doing a job. Does that make sense? So we want it in both configurations. Do you guys understand that? Like as a DEX, we want it in both configurations because we don't want just like everybody. You know, this is, by the way, one of the reasons that we kind of turned off decay. Because it's like, hey, you know, this token is better for a DEX without decay. Like, it allows TVL to get deeper. It allows people to actually transact in more ways. Now, granted, at the time, we thought that, like, hey, having decay on, everybody would transact at the same time. But I realized that allowing people to speculate in more different ways could possibly increase the transaction volume in the future. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, we'll find out. It's going to be hard to test that one way or another. But yeah, for 2 ohm to achieve the highest supply possible, Pyre Phantom means even higher supply. And for 2 ohm to achieve a high supply, like that's what makes what do I mean to say here? The lower the lower the total supply, the smaller the prints are going to be in a boardroom. Does that make sense? Because the prints are proportional to the total supply of the peg token. Does that make sense? So, does that make sense? So, you want the print to be larger because it allows it to kind of like reference what already exists. And like, as it compounds in an upward direction, this allows the share token to look like it's worth more money, because the yield from it will be going up over time. Braided LP allows us to achieve this because we don't originate debt when we braid the peg token into liquidity. But yeah, anyways. So like, we're not necessarily trying to cut 2 ohms total supply down to 1 million to get it to peg, right? Ideally, we could try to get it to peg below before it gets below 5 million. Does that make sense? Right? If we have to take it all the way to 1 million, we can. That's the whole point. That like red candles can't kill this project. Like, we could continue crushing this token down. Possibly electronic. Possibly. Yeah, because you might. Like, meterage with dibs might just fucking shoot dibs. Does that make sense? Because right now, meterage is now going to have a higher... dibs is going to receive more benefit than Pyre BNB will receive as detriment. Does that make sense? The growth, but then also the meterage on top of them. Right? Because like the growth of those LPs are what allow like meterage to really like send dibs or send 2 ohm or send snow tomb, right? Does that make sense? Like those LPs getting deeper do in fact, they are the leverage point. Yeah. Make sense? So like the point being here is let's look at like the total LP of 2 ohm. You guys want to see that? Let's actually, Mr. Producer, if I get a screen share. Okay, so right here we have 2 ohm Wrapped Phantom, 2 ohm against Wrapped Phantom. We got 60K. Okay. All right, so we got 60K. This is just liquidity. We're just checking LP, yeah. 60K. Then we got 10K. Then we've got 1.1K over there in redemption even. So you got 1,000 over there in redemption. Then you got another 2,000 over on redemption. Then you've got 2 ohm against ETH, which is $13. Okay, we're not going to count these. Okay. Make sense to you guys? 60K, 70K, 73K. Do you guys see that right there? So 2 ohms total liquidity is 73,000. Does everybody understand the math here? Now, let's search for Pyre Phantom. Okay. We've got 28K. Then we've got 62, 6,000, 6.2K. Then we've got 3.4K. That's it. Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry. There is some Z ohm against Pyre Phantom. This is 48K. That counts too. There is MB dollar, which is great. Okay, that's it. That's it. Okay. So already here we got 48 plus 3.4, which is 51.4, 51.6, 56, 57.6, and then 28K, which would be 85.6. Do you guys see that right here? So the total liquidity for Pyre Phantom is already now higher than 2 ohm. Are you guys aware of this? By the way, we might have, us doing the transplants might have helped even the odds. Yes, in fact, I didn't even see that. Like, I don't know where that is. Yeah, where is Pyre Phantom against 3 ohm? Is it like not showing up? Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. 21K. So a whole other 21K. There you go. Another 21K there. Okay, so it's actually 106,000. I don't know why, you know, Dexter didn't want to show me that. But again, $106,600. Does that make sense to you guys? So like the total, yeah. Oh, well, again, electronic, like 2 to 1 looks good. You mean like the amount of total liquidity we have here compared to 2 ohm? Like that looks good? Is that what you're saying? Okay, and what I'm saying, yeah, no, I agree. But guess what, electronic? This amount is going to get deepened to shit when they're at Mead parity. Does that make sense? This amount, Pyre Phantom liquidity, is going to get deepened to shit. And by the way, you notice that the 2 ohm liquidity counts for both. Right, so like the Pyre Phantom 2 ohm liquidity, this 28K, I think it should technically be here as well, would it not? Yeah, so this one's actually, this one, the math is here wrong again. So this one also has another 28K going for it. Yeah, so actually right now, I would say that they're probably kind of equal. This one is probably what? That would be 101K now? Do you see that? Do you guys see that? The 28K would technically be in both because that's that liquidity pair. Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? Like the total amount of liquidity? Right, so we have 101,000 here. We have 106,000 here. Everybody still follow me? Okay, but the fact of the matter is that Pyre Phantom is still only 1/6 of 2 ohm. So the fact of the matter is, this is not going to go up by a factor of 6. It's not going to go up by a factor of 6. Like, not from the price change. Does that make sense? But it's still going to keep climbing because Pyre Phantom is going to keep climbing. So all the liquidity with Pyre Phantom, it's going to go up in value. Does that make sense to you guys? So this number, we might get to 200K. We might get to 300K. I don't fucking know. You can probably calculate this. I'm not going to. What I do know is that the liquidity with Pyre Phantom against everything else will get deepened to shit. Does that make sense? Like, Pyre Phantom liquidity will get deep as fuck once we have this, once we're at the Mead thresholds. Because what everybody's going to do with it, everybody's holding it right now, they're going to deepen their liquidity with it. Right? So this might be 101K, and we might have 500K for Pyre Phantom. Does that make sense? And if we have $500,000 of Pyre Phantom liquidity against 100,000 of 2 ohm liquidity, that means all meterage is going to do 5 times positive price impact, right? For every 1% here of negative price impact, you could be getting 5% of positive price impact over here. Does that make sense to you guys? So believe it or not, meterage does not become, okay. I'm going to write this out. Okay. During normal operations, meterage does not become unprofitable due to sending PYREPHANTOM too low. Do you know when it becomes? Yeah. Do you know? Okay. During normal operations, meterage does not become unprofitable due to sending PYREPHANTOM too low. Do you know why it becomes unprofitable? Because it sends the peg coin too high. Do you guys understand me now? It sends the peg coin too high for it to remain profitable. Do you understand what I'm saying? Before, during beta testing, February, March, it would send PYREPHANTOM too low to meterage again. But now it sends the peg coin too high to meterage again. Do you understand how that's shifted? The balance has shifted? So believe it or not, when meterage happens, it re-shields PYREPHANTOM. Does that make sense? It's re-shielded because it's sending the peg coin up. Does that make sense? It's saturating the opportunity on the peg coin. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? PYREPHANTOM is finally big enough where it can take the hits from 2 ohm. 2 ohm is gigantic. I can't believe we did it and we still only have like 60 people here. You know? Tops. Like tops. On our most popular day of the month, we have 60 people. Yeah, 30, right? 30 is more, 30, 25-ish maybe. Right? You guys get what I'm saying? Yeah, like we right now have, like, there is a non-zero chance that we can repeg 2 ohm now with this ragtag group of lunatics we have. Yet, all it took was a lot of time and it took a lot of cortisol. Right? Electronic, you're not wrong. I do expect that you guys who, you know, participated in beta testing will be doing amazingly. Let's put it that way. Arguably, there should not be a more lucrative deal in Web3 than being a Senor Circus beta tester, right? Does that make sense? Because, like, that's a fucking job. It's like, it might be a safe bet, but it will not be a painless one. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you, right? It's a good bet, but it will not be a painless one. I'm just gonna say that again and again and again. The Senor Circus, it's a good bet, but not a painless one. To be clear, right? So, yeah, like those of you who understand how this works, because you've been here since February, since you've been here since 2022, like, yeah, you're gonna do wonderful. Like, it'll be fine for you. But do you understand what I'm saying? During normal operations, and you might remember back in February, March, it would hammer PYREPHANTOM to the floor. Do you guys remember? Remember when it was hammer? Do you remember, like, it would be Fexer and fucking Clantonso, like, racing to do it and shit? Do you guys know what I mean? Like, Fexer was doing the fuck out of it, right? And then, like, other people were just literally, like, stampeding through. I think Electronic was stampeding through as well. And it would just crush the shit out of PYREPHANTOM. Be like, oh no, it crushed it. And it's like, yeah, because of how small it is. PYREPHANTOM is huge now. PYREPHANTOM is now bigger than 2 ohm. Yeah, does that make sense? PYREPHANTOM is now bigger than 2 ohm. So now, when meterage happens, it's going to hit the opposite direction. It's now going to send 2 ohm. Does that make sense? Suddenly 2 ohm will just be getting 10% days. Why is it getting a 10% day? Meterage. Yeah, meterage and speculation on meterage. And then 2 ohm will be having the same type of days that PYREPHANTOM is having now. Maybe about half as good. I don't fucking know. Maybe better. It's actually way smaller. Am I making sense to you guys? PYREPHANTOM has to climb, then 2 ohm will climb with it, and then 2 share will climb at the end. This is the domino sequence. Yes, exactly, Maddie. Exactly. Yeah. Like before the smaller object was PYREPHANTOM. Now PYREPHANTOM is the bigger object. People didn't realize we were making PYREPHANTOM the bigger object. Did you guys think about that? No. It was more like the price chart. Yeah, don't worry about the price chart, right? Yeah, we had to make it bigger. Like, the only way to make it bigger was to do that. I mean, I feel like I'm clear with my communication, and I learned that I'm not, right? It just sometimes it's just not clear what we're doing. I know that I'm incomprehensible. My methods are incomprehensible, but they're not incorrect. Does that make sense? Yeah, February testers know. Yeah, it's unclear. It's uncharted territory. But yeah, the planet diagram. Yeah, the planet diagram. By the way, how old is that planet diagram now? That was back in December of 2023. I'm pretty sure I built that diagram like in December of 23. Like, I believe that diagram is older than like the first time we beta tested the Witch Vault. Yeah, like that's not a new diagram anymore. I think I debuted that diagram in the 2-ohm, 3-ohm, Z-ohm server. I don't think anybody was in this server yet. Yeah. So you remember, Pyre Phantom would just get fucking hammered on the head, right? It was like whack-a-mole. It would just bang, and Pyre Phantom would just go boom to the floor, right? Now it would decay. Remember, it would go into a downtrend, and then it would decay, and it would slowly flatten. Then it would go into an uptrend, and then we would meteorage again when it was profitable. Does everybody remember? It fucking inflates in a surge. Then it goes into a downtrend. Then it deflates until it's flat. Then it deflates till it's up. Then it meteorizes again. Yep. Yeah. Like, we had to get here, Clantonso. But, like, again, we did it, like, with what we had. You know, arguably, do you guys know the story of, like, Gideon in the Bible? So, like, I think Gideon in the Bible, I don't even know what the book it's from, but he's, like, asking God for soldiers so he can go repel an army. And God is saying, you actually need less people than you think. And he basically just tells them, is like, no, get rid of them, get rid of them, get rid of them, and, like, only keep, like, the people that are, like, pass these tests. Does that make sense? But yeah, so during normal operations, the upside, the upside to meteorage with respect to Pyre Phantom is that it becomes re-shielded. Does that make sense? So even meteorage has an upside to Pyre Phantom if it's sending the Mead token higher than it's sending Pyre Phantom lower. Yeah, Maddie, I cannot even calculate my losses. You know what I mean? Like, it's none of this, not like, it's all cartoon numbers. Yeah, like, it's like, I need you to understand, the information was worth more than the money. And I know that's not clear, but, like, I'm sure it'll be clear soon enough. The information, like, the information about all this. Like, I don't know if you realize, we really did evolve DeFi. Like, it's about to work now. I can really see it. I think it's about to work. Can you guys see it? Literally, this is how it looks like. If Genesis ended, it would be like this right now. Yeah, like right now, this is what it would be like too. Hey, Genesis is over. Don't. It would be like something. Imagine something underwater is getting fucking held down by a chain, and then suddenly you just, like, snap the chain off. You fucking take pliers, or what they're called, bolt cutters. Yeah, you take bolt cutters and you fucking sever the chain, and then suddenly it just starts rising because it's rising to where it's supposed to go, right? And as it starts rising, it's now going to be a big enough buoy to carry the burdens of 2-ohm, 3-ohm, and Z-ohm with it. Making sense to you guys? Thank you, Electronic. I appreciate that. But when I mean normal operations, I mean PYRESWAP is designed to kind of have like this, like the vibratile range. Does that make sense? Like, you're kind of printing sometimes, you're kind of meeting sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, these things happen. You also have a faction of knights. You have multiple factions of knights. You've got a faction of witches. Does that make sense? You have all Discord servers are getting used, by the way. All Discord servers are getting used. You have actual community members on all fucking however many Discord servers, right? Does that make sense? And then on top of that, like, the type of opportunities that show up, like, these are the things that you can expect to see. A Genesis is not normal operations, right? But we had to turn decay off because it was going to allow us to get big enough to fucking to take 2-ohm up with us. You follow me? Like, I had to make a bigger bet on the user base. I told you guys that, right? Like, turning decay off meant I had to increase the size of my bet on the user base, right? Because we no longer have this seatbelt of decay. But everybody seems to like that because it seems like everybody's making more money, right? Like with decay gone, it is easier now to make money, at least on the upside, right? Making sense? Yeah. So like if that's the case, again, red candles clearly can't kill us. So what the fuck are we scared of, right? Because like what decay was before was like let's make sure the price doesn't go too low, but that was fucking pussy. Right? We now went below 0.01 TWAP with all 3 fucking tokens. And now we are in fact mooning on the dawn of World War III. So, yeah, who knows what tomorrow's going to look like. Yeah, this is a fear day. Yeah, Pyre Phantom is up 13% on a fear day. Audio check. Did I lose you guys? I had a notification that... Okay. Well, anyways, do you guys understand? Pyre Phantom is now big enough. Look at that total supply. Look on the mead page. Let's pull it up. Can I get a screen share, Mr. Producer? Oh. Audio? Oh, okay. Let me... Check, audio check. Audio check, audio check, audio check. Okay, okay, it's on now. All right, so my audio dropped out for a good minute. Okay, no worries, no worries. All right, audio dropped on Discord, but we're back. Okay, so anyways, yeah, we had to make it bigger. Do you guys understand? We had to make it, we had to make Pyre Phantom bigger than 2 ohm. And now, you guys just saw us do the liquidity analysis, right? So we're already like almost equal with the LP depth on the tokens. At the same time, we're literally 0.01. You guys see this? By the way, yeah, 0.01. So by the way, less than a 100x the peg. Hope your moon bags are packed, okay? And you guys can see that we're 25.8 million TS, total supply. Here we have 5.7. So as we get that 6x, in fact, we could probably find out through a impermanent loss calculator. Let me try this. I don't know if this is correct. We're gonna try to see what we think okay, assuming nobody deepens liquidity, which is not true because that'll definitely happen. But let's see what would happen. Token A right now, and let's say we're looking at like 2 ohm. Let's go look at. Okay, let's go to deck screener actually. Okay, so we're gonna look at 2 ohm right now is 4 pennies. $0.47, and then we're gonna call this one here, and then Pyre Phantom is what? Pyre Phantom is it's 0.7 of a penny, 0.074, and then token A let's say we're gonna keep the same price, and then here. No, sorry, that would be wrong, yeah. Okay, so that's not that bad. Okay, so what I think this means is if we go up 6x, we'll only be going up 4x. Do you guys see the impermanent loss is 31? So what I mean is, if Pyre Phantom's price goes up 6x, we should still have $400,000 in liquidity. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, assuming nobody else deep in liquidity at the meat threshold, I think that we should have 400K. Like, you get what I'm saying? If we have an impermanent loss. This is very theoretical, and I'm not sure the math actually works. But for my estimation, I think that if Pyre Phantom goes to the fucking to the mead level with 2 ohm, that must imply that Pyre Phantom's liquidity will deepen to 400,000. Does that make sense? It's not gonna deepen 1-to-1. You can see that you get what I'm saying, Jabri? Yeah, like if assuming I'm rounding 31.4 to 1/3. Does that make sense to you guys? So what I'm saying is liquidity growth will only go up 70% of what the price will. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? This might be wrong. But we can test it. So like the day before, as we get closer to the price of 2 ohm, we'll be able to see where the TVL is, where the liquidity depth is. Make sense? The liquidity value is. Oh, by the way, we're going to cross 7 figures of TVL. Yeah, exciting, right? So yeah, the Metatrage, by the way, ends up helping Pyre Phantom because like it's not gonna fucking crush it as low as it's gonna send 2 up, right? And in fact, Metatrage hurts 2 share more than it hurts Pyre Phantom. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you understand? Metatrage ends up hurting 2 share more than it ends hurting Pyre Phantom. Well, it's meant to be a safety device for the fucking tomb forks. Okay, I am out of stuff to talk about. Who has a question? I feel way good right now. Yeah, I had a really healthy food or whatever. It worked. Whatever they do in health food, which makes you feel good, it worked. Yeah, Jay Reed's okay. It doesn't get recorded. So, oh, by the way, our subreddit now has. Actually, we can check this right now. Our subreddit now has more than 50 users. So we're gonna actually go check to see if it posted, because we were gonna see if this posted. Unclear. Oh, it says hot. Should I say new? On the right. Oh yeah, 57. Yeah, no, not that. I wanted to see. Joker. Joker said that he was automating the thing that posts the YouTube link whenever we go live. So in theory, he told me like we're gonna test it now. We're gonna still troubleshoot this. Does that make sense? So clearly it didn't happen this time, or maybe I can't see it. But either way, we're gonna troubleshoot this and figure out what happened. But anyways, yes. For those of you who aren't in our Reddit yet, we would appreciate you guys coming to Reddit. And yeah, we'll soon be able to automate the posting of these PYRESWAP shows into our subreddit. So if ever you miss the PYRESWAP show, the easiest place to find it is on the subreddit. Hope that makes sense to you guys. Yep, again, guys, look at that. Above 0.01. Do you guys remember how low it was? We've already tripled the price in like 3 days. Yikes. What was the price on the 6th? Wow, you guys, yeah. So we have gone up 6x. Guys, we've already gone 600% in the last month. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that? In actually 3 weeks. By the way, most of that time, our expansion rate was 0.7. Now it's 0.1. I wonder if that means anything. Did you guys know that? That we went up 600% in 3 weeks? Did you guys know? That's crazy. That's crazy. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the price. It was 0.00112. So let's divide that. What's 74? 74 divided by 12? 6.16. Yeah, I'm going to call that 600%. 600%. Do you guys understand the math? Do you guys see the math? Here we are at 0.0074. I'll draw it out. I'll draw it out. I feel like you guys aren't remember this. I need to draw it out for you guys. We are today at 0.007435. And September 6th, this is October 2nd. And on September 6th, our bottom was 0.001217. Okay, you guys ready to do the math? $7,435 divided by 1217. This is 6. 611%. Okay, we are up 65. This looks fucking weird. Here, I'll write this in green so you guys know it's bullish. We are up 611% in 3 weeks. Is that any clear? Yep. So Javery, by the way, most of that time, it also wasn't as deflationary as it is now. Does that make sense? As of 48 hours ago, we are 7 times less inflationary. Does that make sense? We've reduced our inflation rate by like 80%, 83%. Do you get what I'm saying? We are now 1/7 as inflationary as we were in September. Guess we'll find out. Javery. Hey, Clara Monero, what's up? Hey, Clara Monero. Yeah, I see you. Shout out to everybody watching on our other platforms, Kick, Twitch, OnlyFans, what have you. And, yep. By the way, guys, have you heard that, like, there's this struggling need for use case in Web3? We're going to build that. Like, we actually build that. We understand what we're fucking doing. Yeah, thanks, Javery. We're up 611%. Yeah, so if you guys are like, is it possible we could 10x in 2 weeks? Well, we have now reduced inflation rate by 83%, and it's October. Remember, we're not causing the token to get bought more. We're just causing it to get sold less. That's way different. Do you understand? We are we are restraining the token less. Okay? How far it goes is up to the user base. Do you guys understand how September 6th to October 2nd is like 3 weeks or so? It's less than a month. Exactly that, Maddie. Yeah, exactly. Yep. But the fact of the matter is they're now getting emissions in a token that's going up. So again, there's something for everybody. Anyone have any questions? Javery, no, yeah. We can, get close. No. We would be able to literally, move on to launching, Ribs money when we have 300 users. Yeah. Yeah. Phase 2 is, I have to go put the devs back to work for, months. Yeah. Now we have to build a liquidity dashboard. That's going to take at least 90 days. Yeah. Then we have to, literally rebuild the factory contract. I probably want to have 6 devs. So as opposed to having 3 devs, having 6. Yeah, phase two is not a small fucking upgrade. Phase 1, phase 2, and phase 5 are gigantic. Phase 1's not even that fucking big, to be honest. Phase 1 isn't big, but phase 2 is huge. Phase 1 is minimum viable concept product. You guys know what I mean? Oh yeah, we don't hire anybody. Yeah, no mercenaries. Yeah. The first day they work as a dev, they have to fight in the basement. Yep. And they can't talk about it. Yep. Till end of year? No, I don't know what you mean, Maddie. Exactly, Javery. That's a joke. Maddie, we have to do things like this. We have to actually hit user base goals, okay? These would, like, the Genesis goals are really the user-based goals. Does that make sense? But, like, the user-based goals and, like, the marketing, this has to happen. We need the user-based goals here. Then we would have, like, ribs, affogato, hoggy. Does that make sense? And then we have 3 more tomb forks we have to launch before phase 2. Does that make sense? So 3 tomb forks have to get launched before phase 2. So, like, then we're overhauling all the aesthetics. So tomb fork aesthetic overhaul. Does that make sense? By the way, this is not done. Yeah, we don't have all the aesthetics done because there's no point in working on them until we, like, if we can't get to this, right? Then what else? Then we have to fucking have bannerets, right? Then we have to actually develop the night game. Yeah, it matches the, it'll match the pixelated GameFi style. Bannerets, night game. We have to fucking build the night game. Make sense? Yeah, like phase 1 is still like not complete, to be clear. Like we have the beta testing banner up still. By the way, we should have a smart contract audit. Wouldn't you guys agree? Smart contract audit? Like do we think we need one? No. But, like, is everybody gonna fucking bitch until we get one? Yes. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? I feel like we would have fucking been exploited by now. Listen, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm like a polarizing, like, zealot. Does that make sense? So I should have enough enemies that if the smart contracts had a fucking flaw in them, it would have been exploited by now. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, I should be fucking making enough enemies that, like, this thing should be fucking getting robbed left and right if there was a weak point. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's the goal, right? That's the goal. So, like, that hasn't happened yet, right? We found somebody using a fucking usurping bot, but that's nothing. You know what I mean? Well, Fexer, like, they gotta start somewhere, right? Where are they gonna find the money to hire assassins? They gotta rob me first. Well, I think that would be so funny. Yeah. We would call it Phantom Foundation Finance. There you guys go. Phantom Foundation Finance. That's so funny. Yeah. We could call it Phantom. Yeah. Sonic Schmonic. Okay, that is so funny. By the way, guys, I'll reveal something. Right? We've got the aesthetics of the chains, right? We've got the aesthetics of the chains, right? And like Phantom, you got your fucking spooky, occult, like Halloween type of shit. Does that make sense? So you have skeleton and zombie knights, right? The knights. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Phantom. You guys follow me here? Avalanche. Cold. And winter. You guys follow me here? And then on BSC, we're just going to make them fucking pigs. You guys follow me? Right? There was like a Yeti swap, but not even that. Like, we're just gonna be cold. Yeah, that was like dibs. Anyways, if we do bring the GPSE, to the Sonic chain, let me actually hear your ideas before I tell you what we already decided. What do you guys think the fucking aesthetic would be? Like, what do you do? I think Dr. Mack might already know, but let's see if anyone else knows. Like, what's the aesthetic of Sonic? Color font pictures? I don't know what you mean. Nuclear atomic energy? The Dreamcast. Brilliant. Zombie skeletons? Fast and blue like the hedgehog? It's not zombies and skeletons. That's staying on Phantom. Yeah. So I think Trigger and Dr. Mac know. Yeah. We're talking about like woodland critter anthropomorphic themed. Because Sonic and Tails and Knuckles, they're woodland critters. You guys know what I mean? Technically an echidna lives in like Australia or whatever. But like you get what I'm saying. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Perception. Yep. There you go, Javery. Yep, literally that. Literally that. Probably not South Park themed, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. Any other questions? We can wrap this up. We're here about 57 minutes. Any other questions? Thank you to everybody tuning in on Kick and Twitch. No, Fexer. No. Yeah, it's like it's in the realm of possibilities. No. Literally, Sonic is completely a separate chain. Like, there's really nothing to do with Phantom other than the fact that you can migrate your Phantom over to Mead, as it were, for Sonic. Does that make sense? You can Mead your FTM for S. But then after that, they're like two separate fucking things. So, like, we're not migrating over, and any DAP that's moving is really just, like, expanding to Sonic. Does that make sense? Like, there might be ones talking about, like, moving, but at the same time, none of the DAPs feel... Like, DAPs don't do that. Does that make sense? DAPs try to spread. Yeah. But that's not what they did, Javery. Does that make sense? Like, Matic to Pole is a rebrand. Do you get what I'm saying? And ETH Classic to ETH, they're also two different separate chains, but those are forks. ETH Classic and ETH are forks of each other. Yeah, Fexer, exactly. Because there's still $100 million in volume. Look at the fucking deck screener here. Oh, sorry. 24 volume is 25 million. I think yesterday was 100 million. I think today is sad. But do you guys get what I'm saying? You're talking about daily volume of $25 million? Like, if you guys don't know what I mean, this is in theory. Oh, thank you, Mr. B-War. Thank you, everybody on Kick. Right? Like, $25 million daily, that's not like nothing. Do you guys know what I mean? Javery, yes, that's the idea. Technically, there would be 3 Tomb Forks on Sonic. When the time comes that we would expand to Sonic. But by the way, we're not going to expand to Sonic before we finish the 3 chains we're on now. Does that make sense? So you will see 2 ohm print before we even consider moving to Sonic. You will see 3 ohm print, Z ohm print. You will see all 9 boardrooms likely print before we end up on a 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th chain. We could also end up on Tomb Chain, right? You guys have heard this? Yeah, also, we need to fucking hit the targets we have now, not continue spreading ourselves out, right? Focus on what you're working on and, like, finish it, right? Do you guys agree? Like, finish what you start and then think about, like, juggling more shit. Yeah, and also, we need to have bannerets and channelers, too. Like, we need to, like, have those in place because, like, otherwise, I just have to keep going back and fucking forehead kissing and just going over things again. Well, Fexer, that would be the goal of, like, acquiring Tomb. They'd be like, hey, how about this? Give us the fucking project. Yeah, and we'll fucking repay it. Does that make sense? That would be the actual move. Well, Javery, like, I'll tell you this, Javery. So right now, we're doing some very, very unique marketing tactics for PYRESWAP. For those of you who know about our marketing tactics, would you agree they're a bit unique? Would you guys agree? Our marketing tactics are a bit exotic? Okay, well, consider this, Javery. It has not been beneficial for us to mention Tomb Forks. It's been like a fucking hindrance. It has gotten more grimaces than it's gotten grins. Does that make sense? Like when they mention Tomb Forks, people aren't bullish. Does that make sense? They don't look under the hood. They're like, oh, this is Tomb Forks again. They just assume you're pumping and dumping. You're fucking Ponzi. You're Ponziing, right? So the fact of the matter is, that like, if we're launching Tomb Forks, we probably can't call them that. So we need to actually probably remarket them. Even projects like Ribs Money, projects like fucking Affogato, projects like Hoggy. J-Reed, me proving it worked in a new way would be what I focus on. Does that make sense? We would call them Senorage Dapps. Senorage Dapps. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? Does that make sense? We call it Senorage Dap, not a fucking Tomb Fork. Because, like, until we acquire Tomb, fuck, man, we got so much work ahead of us. Anyways, point being here is that's what it's all about. But like literally, we need to stay original and stay exotic in our marketing because you guys get what I'm saying? Like you literally have to like rebrand the fucking thing. Like you have to fucking like call it something different because the narrative around it sucks. Nobody likes it anymore. And again, it's difficult to believe that only one guy knows what he was doing and 80 guys didn't. Like, that's just so goddamn fucking out of left field. Oh, by the way, yeah, Pirate Producer is not from Tomb Forks and he didn't like them. Like, he didn't fuck with them. Yeah. Bit Senorage. There you go. Zero Kex, also not from Tomb Forks. Right? So, like, yeah. Anyways. No more questions. We'll just be fucking wrapping it up. This is about the hour. I want to thank you guys for coming to the PYRESWAP show for Wednesday. We'll see you again tomorrow on Thursday. Have a great rest of your day. See you later.